79th Street, 1000 block, and firing attendees of the funeral. At that time, the attendees of the funeral exchanged gunfire with a black vehicle. Black vehicle then struck down Carpenter, going down Carpenter, and continued to fire attendees with
Another plane just hit. Another plane just hit. Another building. Right into the middle of it.
Publicly at length in a military courtroom on Thursday. He is accused of leaking hundreds of thousands of classified documents to WikiLeaks, an online anti-secrecy group. But Manning says because of the abuse he suffered in pre-trial detention at Marine Corps Base Quantico, the case against him should be dismissed.
We don't know what's going on outside our country. We only know what they tell us, bruh. Just like in other countries, they don't know what's going on. They only know what they people telling them. Right? So look, I goes and I search up what the fuck is going on in America, because they only talking about coronavirus. They still pushing this coronavirus shit and vaccines and shit, right? That's all people been focused on, right? So I said, what's going on in America with this food shit? Let me tell y'all. It was at the beginning of the month. What I found, this shit happened at the beginning of the month. I found it today, the information. The government is shutting down farms in the United States right now. The government is shutting down farms because the coronavirus went up with farm workers. Now I want to tell y'all, but they said the cases of farm workers with coronavirus went up. So they are shutting down farms, right? So it's always an agenda. It's always an agenda. So I'm like, why the fuck would y'all, nigga, if y'all shut down farms, bitch, how we gonna eat?
Open phones. I can't even think about what to say. It's just, yeah, it's horrible what could happen in society.
Yes.
But the truth has been, over the 30 years I've done this, and even when you look back further than that in the trend lines, the truth has been that what happens in your house is 90-something% of the equation, not what happens in the White House.
That's right.
And so quit trying to elect someone to fix your life, or being afraid that someone's going to destroy your life that's going to be affected. They just don't have the power unless you give it to them.
That's right.
Foster care children are 4 times more likely to be exposed to sexual abuse. That's a breeding ground for trafficking. I promise you that's a breeding ground for trafficking. But the reason I looked at foster care is that it's a microcosm. It's a sample set that we have pretty extraordinary data around to date, even though we can't seem to fix it. It's a microcosm for what happens when displacement happens abroad, as the unintended consequences of our actions or inactions in the rest of the world. When people are left out, when they're neglected, when they're not supported, and when they're not given the love that they need to grow, it becomes an incubator for trafficking. And this refugee crisis, if we want to be serious about ending slavery, we cannot ignore it, and we cannot ignore our support for this issue in that space, because otherwise we're going to deal with it for years to come. For drug trafficking, for weapons trafficking, and for human trafficking. And it's also the warehouse for some of the most offensive child abuse images in the world. Now, when the Department of Homeland Security called us and asked for our help and asked if we had a tool, I had to say no. And it devastated me. It haunted me. Because for the next 3 months, I had to go to sleep every night and think about that little girl that was still being abused. And the fact that if I built the right thing, we could save her. So that's what we did. And now, if I got that phone call, Greg, wherever you're at, the answer would be yes. We've taken these investigation times of dark web material from 3 years down to what we believe can be 3 weeks. The tool's called Solus. Once again, I won't go into too much detail about the tool, but it's being used by 40 agencies across the world today in beta, and we believe that it's going to yield extraordinary results. And just like Spotlight, it gets smarter and more efficient and more cost-effective
Satanism
over time.
or other secret cults. The cults are highly secretive and they operate their organizations in secret. The cults are often deathly evil. Sacrifices are known throughout history to have been conducted during the ancient times. Some civilizations that were regularly sacrificing humans were the Egyptians, the Mayan, and the Aztecs. The civilizations were deeply seated in the process of killing, extracting, and consuming adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is said to remove the life energy of the victim, and when the consumer ingests the drug, they then receive the victim's life energy. Adrenochrome is said to cause mental disorders, derealization, and euphoria. How is adrenochrome harvested? Adrenochrome is said to be harvested from kidnapped children under the age of 9. The drug is more potent under the age of 9.
Press on, endure, try again, fight back, put on the whole armor of God, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, there's the winner! Find some resolve in yourself, because today people are depressed, people are defeated, people are cast down. They feel like God forsaken them. So if God forsaken them, they are going to forsake you. You gotta encourage yourself. Don't be looking for no pats on the back. You want a pat on the back? Pat yourself on the back. Don't look for nobody to shout at you. Shout to the Father yourself. That's what you gotta do. Hallelujah. Glory to the King. Sometimes you walk into your own home. The home is heavy. Encourage yourself.
But you have to understand, we have a mainstream media that is extremely manipulative. We have the exploitation of pain and emotion that causes people to not consider facts.
Spartans! Punish your perfection! It's the old family. I brought them so because they were dead. Now Jesus described the last days of this world as we know it, just as in the days of Noah. Now the days of Noah are in the beginning of the Bible, in the book of Genesis, chapter 7 and such like. And it was at a time when the scripture says that people's hearts were just continuously evil. Their thoughts were evil. Very much like what I feel is starting to happen in greater measure, almost like a moral landslide in our generation. Baptism of filth is coming through the airwaves on this generation. People are losing their sense.
That mask signifies this month. You're not supposed
Jesus. But in the end, Judas betrayed Jesus. And it was a flippant, petty, vile decision. And it's happened again. Something is coming. There's a great light that is coming. So make sure that you are worthy of being in that light.